1.
We are the Group 5.
And the instructional materials that we used here is diorama.
And the topic we chose to discuss is the forest ecosystem.
Let's start our presentation.
Good day everyone, I am Christian J. Lapas and today I will be discussing the importance of forest ecosystem. So let's start. If you observe a globe or a map, you can see that there are blue, green, and brown parts. We know that blue is the ocean and brown is the land. And how about the green part? Green parts are the forest, and forest is actually a kind of ecosystem. So let's dive into what they really are. A forest is a piece of land with many trees. Forests are one of the most common and most important kinds of ecosystems in our planet. An ecosystem is a community or group of living organisms that exist and interact in a specific environment. Therefore, as a group, we believe that the best instructional materials required here is diorama, a scenic portrayal in which sculpted figures and lifelike details are frequently displayed in small sizes to blend indistinguishably with a realistically background. As you can see, we've decided as a group that the forest ecosystem will be the focus of our lesson today. From the air we breathe to the wood we use, forests are essential to our survival. Forests, in addition to providing habitat for animals and a source of income for humans, protect watersheds, prevent soil erosions, and help to mitigate climate change. Nonetheless, despite our reliance on forests, we are allowing them to deteriorate. Forests are an intricate ecosystem on Earth, which contains trees, grasses, and more. The constituents of forests, which are trees and plants, form a major part of the forest. Furthermore, they create a healthy environment so that various species of animals can breed and live there happily. Therefore, we see how forests are a habitat for a plethora of wild animals and birds. In addition to being of use to wildlife, forests benefit mankind greatly and hold immense significance. Forests cover a significant area of the earth. They are the great natural asset to any region and hold immense value. Most importantly, forests are a habitat for wildlife. They provide them with shelter and food. Thus, it is quite important to protect forests and furthermore, enhance the forest, cover a greener and sustainable future. And that concludes my presentation, and the next discussion will be discussed by Ms. Karen Gulata.
Plants and trees are some of the primary components of a forest ecosystem. In fact, trees are the main feature of a forest ecosystem. That's why, as you can see here in our diorama, we have lots of trees and plants here. But I know some of you are wondering why does plants and trees are very significant to forest ecosystem. That is why I will be discussing the importance and roles of plants and trees in a forest ecosystem. Plants and trees are considered as the producers. They are considered as the primary producers because they are the only organisms that can make their own food. Through the process of photosynthesis, plants and trees take energy from the sun, carbon dioxide from the air, and water and minerals from the soil. They then give off water and oxygen. Plants and trees also provide habitat for many species of animals. They also provide food, shelter from weather like rain and sun. They are also used as a nesting place, sleeping ground, and hideout from predators. As you can see here, animals are utilizing the plants as their means of survival. Like for example, when the cow gets hungry, it will eat the grass or other plants that are available. Another example here is that when a small animal needs to hide from predators, they can utilize the trees as their hideout. All these animals are surviving because of the oxygen released by the plants and trees present in the forest. So, those are some of the examples that shows the roles of plants and trees in the forest ecosystem. Forests, trees, and plants also protect us from floods. They absorb excess rainwater through their roots, which prevents flooding. Therefore, we can say that without plants and trees, there would be no life on Earth, for animals and even humans alike. This is why it is so important to protect and do everything to maintain our trees and plants in our forest ecosystem, to help sustain life for many more years than we can probably even imagine. So, I am Karen C. Gulatao, your instructor, and the next instructor will be Mr. Philip Joshua C. Cristobal.
Hi, I am Sir Philip Joshua C. Cristobal, and today I will discuss the importance of animals in ecosystem and its role to ecological balance. Ecosystems are made up of a variety of living organisms as well as non-living factors such as water, sunlight, and rocks. Animals play essential roles in the formation and maintenance of the ecosystems they live in. Like for example, one ecological role of animals in their environment is to act as consumers, which is a vital part of the community dynamics and energy flows of the ecosystem. Animals considered as consumers, and we say consumers, they subsist on organic matter derived from photosynthesis. This occurs in a variety of forms and at many different levels. First level is primary consumers, who eat plants and other producers directly. And second is the secondary consumers, who consume other consumers. All animals as well as some fungi, bacteria, and plants are considered consumers. The sheer amount of wildlife, both known and yet to be discovered, play a very integral role in maintaining the fragile balance that ensures the wellness of the earth. Each species functions with a specific role: the predator, decomposer, prey, preserver, and this way, ecological balance is preserved. When considered from this perspective, the earth then becomes a host with flora and fauna that grows to become beneficial organisms that make or break its health. Ultimately, the ecosystem no more than a reflection of its wellness or sickness, and humanity desperately needs to remember this. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I'm your instructor Kyle. And the thing that you can see in front of you is an instructional material called a diorama. So what exactly is diorama? Dioramas are small scenes created from layers of materials, all representing a similar concept or theme. Typically, they depict a historical era, a natural scene, or a fictional situation. What you're looking at right now is a diorama depicting a natural scene from the forest ecosystem. However, before you begin creating a diorama, you must first decide on a concept or theme. Second, do some research on the topic. The third step, make a rough sketch of your ideal diorama. Fourth, make a list of everything you'll need and start gathering your supplies. And finally, decide whether to use a container or a box. We've decided that the forest ecosystem will be the subject of our diorama. We began by doing some basic research and studying every detail that we would do and include in the diorama. After that, we planned the model and created a sketch of it. We made a list of all the materials we were going to use and decided on a container or a box as the model's foundation.
We have learned from the discussions earlier that forest ecosystem plays an important role in our environment. These roles such as habitats, food producers, oxygen producers, prevents soil erosion, protects watershed, and help mitigate the climate change. We have also learned the roles of plants and trees, which are some of the primary components of forest ecosystem. Plants and trees provides habitats for animals, oxygens, and foods. We then also discuss about the three components of an ecosystem, which are producers, consumers, and decomposers. Producers form the base of all energy in an ecosystem, and majority of producers are plants. Second one is the consumers. Consumers are the one who feeds on producers. Consumers have two types, the primary and secondary consumers. Primary consumers are the animals who feeds directly on producers, while secondary consumers are the animals that feeds on another consumers. The last one, decomposers, or sometimes called the detrivores, are very small organisms that breaks down dead or decaying bodies of an organism, which will soon be a nutrient in the soil and very beneficial for the plants living nearby. And that's all for the summary of the discussion. And now we move on to the benefits of an instructional materials in learning and teaching process. What you see in front of me is an example of an instructional material. Instructional materials makes learning interesting, practical, realistic, and appealing. Instructional materials enables both the teachers and the students to participate actively and effectively. Instructional materials also gives room for acquisition of skills and knowledge, and development of self-confidence in the students. This diorama you see will surely help us and the students to incorporate craft objects into understanding the topic. This will also allow the students to illustrate an academic subject, the plot of the story, or even an event in history. And that's all for our discussion. Thank you for listening.